I am going to record these for the sake of some people who want to see a video without my face. Open up the Bible after you got in your notes written October 10. Go to Matthew chapter 5. And once you're there, give me a thumbs up or something so that I can see that, whatever's going on there. Okay, we got a few people who got their Bibles open, got their notes out. You're going to want to take notes because it's an easy way to get some points, right, Hazelton? Yeah. Yeah. How's your guys' break on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. How great was this break? A 10? A 10? Yeah. Yeah. Ilham's a 0. He hated it. Wow. Ilham just hates it. Kidding. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really excited, 1 being not very excited. How excited are you guys for school to start today? A 2? Yeah. Is Andika in this class, you guys? Who's missing? Okay, let's see here. General webcam should work, right? But no. Okay. Cannot start. Please select another camera in settings. Just keeps telling me this. Get this done. All right, you guys, welcome. What we're going to do is we are going to read just the first part, kind of give you a picture of where we left off. You guys are going to have to do your readings, continue on in your readings. I'll give you time to do those. But what we're looking at right now is Jesus has called some disciples, right? And we're kind of in that cycle of the 3 things. Go to your notes. What were those 3 things? There's 5 different things of 3 that happen in Matthew. Go to your notes. I know some of you guys have it written down. It's from our first day learning about Matthew. What are the 5 things of 3? The structure of the book. What does it say? Shout them out if you got them. There should be certain things. I know you can't see my face because my cameras aren't working right now. I don't know why. I even have an external one I'm trying to use. But it's not working. And my computer's super hot. Oh boy, it's going to start on fire. I'm having problems. Thanks, Bradley. You can see my face. You can see my face? Oh, well, I can't see my face. I don't know why that is. Well, I'm glad you guys can see my face. Do I have anything on it? No, nothing. Okay, notes. What are the things? 3 things. It's broken up into my note takers. Hazel, turn your camera on. Jovelyn, Raphael, Rosalina, turn your cameras on. I'm going to be doing attendance soon. 3 things. Thank you, guys. What are those 3 things?
The first section is that what you mean by 3 things?
Yep.
Oh, okay. First section, second section, third section. Yep.
That's all you.
Do you want like details of each of the sections?
Yes, we're reminding everybody.
Okay. So for the first section, are we including the introduction? No, right? No.
No.
Okay. First section. So in the first section, it's from chapters 4 to 7, and Jesus announces the arrival of God's kingdom, and it's God's rescue operation for this whole world, and it's taking place through Jesus. So in this part, Jesus comes to confront evil and its whole legacy of demons, oppression, disease, and death. That's when he does miracles for the crowds that follow him. And Jesus comes to restore God's rule and reign over the whole world by creating a new family of people who will follow him, obey his teachings, and live under his rule. Yes.
All right. Thank you, California, for being willing to share. So where we find ourselves right now is Jesus is showing himself to the world, confronting evil, and establishing himself as the Son of God. Now, Jesus was super popular, okay? Like, think of, back when there were people. Say somebody famous walks into a mall, everybody flocks to go get a picture, right? To go see that person because they're famous. Well, this person isn't just famous because he's on TV. This person's famous because he literally heals people, right? If you've been sick for a long time, there were no Siloam hospitals back then, right? There were no needles, there were no anything, right? They did crazy stuff to try to make you better because they had no idea what was going on, right? This was thousands of years ago. And modern hospitals, like you know it, have only been around for like 60. Okay, so medicine is a new area of study for us right now, but it wasn't back then. So if you were blind, you were blind. If you had a broken arm, you probably had a broken arm or look broken for the rest of your life, right? Those kinds of things. So those people would be considered lame, right? People who had leprosy, if you were sick with leprosy, you weren't allowed in society. You had to stay a certain distance outside of town and hope somebody left food for you to go pick up. Now, all you need for leprosy is a simple injection and you're fine, right? There's a lot of medicines now that simple things are cured by because God has given us the ability to learn about the body, how it works, and provide ways for people to get better. Back then, they didn't have it. So wherever Jesus went, he's working miracles, okay? People whose bones were crooked becoming straight. Those people who were deaf can hear, right? We're talking about your entire life. People's entire lives would change just by seeing this guy. Not, I have a picture for my Instagram now, right? It's crazy. So Jesus is going, oh, hello? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Unstable? Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. So basically, Jesus is super popular because of what he can do for people and how their lives are changed. He's not super popular because he's been on TV and now you have a photo for your Instagram, right? People needed healing. They came to him. They flocked to him because word about him spread. When people say that, it's mouth to mouth, people saying, this is what I saw. Probably people seeing him being baptized. The first thing that they would share, right, is heaven opened up. And so when we get to Matthew chapter 5, right, Jesus was just healed the sick. He called we didn't do the first disciples yet, did we? Jesus is preaching. Jesus calls his first disciples. He says, I'm not going to, they were fishermen, right? Come follow me, right? And I will make you fishers of men. Okay. And that wasn't like, oh, we're going to go and trip people in the street, put hooks in them and drag them home, right? Calling people, leading people, right, into a new kingdom, one that's reversed, one that is about Jesus and his work and bringing salvation to the world instead of building up our own kingdom. Because every day when you wake up, you have a choice. You have a choice to build up a kingdom, but there's only one kingdom you can build every day. You can choose to build up Ilham's kingdom. You can choose to build up Owen's kingdom or Hazel's kingdom, go after the world, popularity, those kinds of things. Being cool, having a girlfriend, boyfriend, you can choose that. Ultimately, that's all about you, right? Or you can choose to build God's kingdom. And that is ultimately about loving others, denying yourself, taking up your cross and following him, right? You might get a girlfriend along the way. You might become popular along the way, but that's not your purpose. That wasn't your focus. And so that's what he's calling his disciples into. And of course, he's working miracles. Then we get to the Sermon on the Mount. Okay. And it's the very first part. We're not going to read any farther, but basically Jesus, I'll read it and then I'll explain a little bit more. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountain and sat down. His disciples came to him and he began to teach them. Okay. This is another sign of Jesus being the Messiah. He would speak in parables. He would teach about the kingdom of God. It's prophesied about him. So he would have to do this at some point, but he does it. And I think some other other books say he had mercy on the people. Right? He almost like, man, I just feel so bad for them. They're lost in trying to live lives for themselves. They're lost in something that they're going down the wrong path, right? They're sheep without a shepherd, right? And so he sits down on the mountainside and a whole bunch of people come. I think some translations have it where there was 5,000 people or 7,000 people or 4,000 people, but that would be men. Back then, they only counted men in crowds. So there'd probably be a lot more because there'd be women and children too. So we get to verse 3 and it says the Beatitudes. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the poor in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you falsely, saying all kinds of evil against you because of me, Jesus. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they were persecuted the prophets who were before you." Jesus' kingdom, when I talk about building a kingdom, it's not one of high walls and of strength and of might and of gold and of high honor and big banquets and tables like you would see in the movies. It's a kingdom that looks drastically different than the world. And there's this term used to describe the kingdom of God, and it's an upside down kingdom. In a normal kingdom, the weak and the poor would be scoffed at, would be laughed at, right? You'd be pushed down. We see it in Indonesia. Nobody wants to talk to the poor, right? All you do is just toss out a few coins and you're okay, as long as you don't have to talk to them or laugh at them when you're driving by, right? That's what happens. But in the kingdom of God, he says, blessed are those people. Blessed. What? What's going on? What is this reversal of kingdoms? And there are a lot of more places where we'll see it, especially in the Sermon on the Mount. But you will see, as Jesus is teaching, it's a kingdom, right? He's saying the kingdom of God is like, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, right? In the world today, we celebrate people who hunger and thirst after wealth and success, not righteousness. We marvel at these NBA players who swear and curse and do drugs and things like that because that's what we value in this world. But God says in the kingdom of God, my kingdom, it's the opposite. And so with that thought, with the blessed are those who are persecuted, right? If you're getting beat up for something, nobody wants to talk to you, right? We always have this talk at school, right? Try to be friends to those who are being bullied, right? We have to try to convince people to love those who are being looked down upon. But God says those people have a reward. Interesting. Go to your teams. Everybody go to teams, go to the general chat. There is a document that I put in there. I'm going to put it in manage back like during class today. So it's coming. But it's the reason why it's not in manage back is because it's Monday. It's Monday, quarter's over, didn't get a chance to do it. Go to teams. I'm going to share the document that you'll click on. It's the Sermon on the Mount essay. I know you guys are pumped about this. I'll do some editing. But this, the idea of the reversal of kingdoms, the Beatitudes, those things are actually really formative. In grade 11, you'll spend actually a lot more time looking at these things and building the kingdom of God and what does that look like. But before we can go any farther, we're going to take some time to write this. Now, we will be doing lessons and we'll be moving on and you'll be given time to work on this. But it is one more of actually like reflection, of thinking about it. So it's going to demand something of you. Okay. Now you might be like, oh, great, an essay, right? Well, if you know anything about Mr. Chris, is I'm not the essay guy, but I know the value of one when somebody reflects and how it's not for me, it's for you to think about. Because you're at a crossroads, just like the people in Matthew, right? Every day you have to decide, is Jesus worth following? Is his kingdom worth building over my own? And just like where we are in the Bible, we need to take time to think about, if we say we're building God's kingdom, are we? Right? And if we are, what does it look like? And this is the perfect verses, 12 verses of just amazement. So, Sermon on the Mount essay. There might be another one at the end after we've done all the way to chapter 8, I think is the end. So there's 3 chapters of this, but what it is, there's 8 Beatitudes, 8 blesseds. Blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek, blessed those people. So you're going to have a paragraph or more, you can do more, dedicated to each one of those 8, and an intro and a conclusion, but 8 paragraphs dedicated to those to help you understand and reflect and live these Beatitudes better, and make sure it's MLA cited, of course. But so you have an intro paragraph, conclusion paragraph, but those 8 main paragraphs in the middle are very simple, but they should be thinking. I don't want one sentence for each. Remember, a paragraph is 5 sentences or more, up to 25. Okay, so you will have time to do. I know some of you don't need any encouragement to write more, but I know some of you guys need encouragement to write more. So it's up to you. So based off of some of these resources, I've included resources for you down below, so you don't have to go all over the place. But in your own words, start each paragraph with, in your own words, explaining what that each beatitude is, right? So blessed are the meek. What does it mean, right? The meek people, who are they? What does it mean to be meek? What does it mean to be poor, right? Explain each beatitude in your own words so that you're wrestling with it. You can make comparables, those things. Then just be like, these people who are meek, people who are poor, people who are accused falsely, right? Those people, the people who are merciful, how are they seen in the world? Some are going to be seen really well, right? Some are going to be seen really well. By the secular world, how do we value those people? And so tell us about that, because that's the important thing, is the contrast, right? Why is it valued? Now, I come from Canada and the US a little bit, which their governments, their laws, everything like that are all based off of the ideas taught in the Old Testament and in the New Testament and by the ancient Greeks. So it's a combination. So it's not a Christian country by any means, but it's been influenced by Christian, Jewish, and Greek cultures. And so some of the laws, some of the values will come from the Bible, some of them won't. But in Indonesia, it's different, right? It's a mostly Islamic country with other influences. So with that, how does the secular world outside of Christianity view the people whose lives are defined by these Beatitudes, right? How do you understand the upside down worldview that Jesus is teaching people about the kingdom of God from this Beatitude? So from this Beatitude, how do you understand this upside down kingdom better? And then personally, what does each Beatitude, so at the end of each paragraph, what does it demand of you? What would it look like for you to be here? Now, I'm not saying you need to be poor, right? But there's different kinds of being poor, right? And so what does it look like? And then conclusion at the end. That is what we're working on today. That's what I want you guys to get a start on. There are videos here. The Bible Project is one. There's other ones. Right here is Right Now Media. Remember we talked about that earlier. Everybody at our school has an account. There's actually quite a few studies on it. This one, there's maybe a 2 or 3 minute video on each beatitude, kind of explaining what it means, those kinds of things. It might help you. Just be sure MLA citation for your essay so that you don't get hit with plagiarism and go to jail. I don't want you to go to jail, Michael. Okay. You can. You guys know that? You can. Yeah. Stealing is wrong. So don't steal. Callista, don't steal. Yeah. Hey, my camera's working now. Hey. That's good. All right. Do you guys have any questions? Bradley? Questions? Melissa? Questions? Hey, Kevin, Hazel, Rosalina, Aubrey, Emily, questions? No? Okay, get going. Work on this. Remember, you have to do your readings up to chapter 21 as well on top of this. I know, but I will give you guys class time. As you can see, it's due October 25th. That's in 15 days. We should have about 5 or 6 classes to work on it, somewhere in there. So as long as you're writing more than a paragraph or 2 a day in class, you'll finish easy peasy. So get to work. You can find this in the Teams general chat, and I will be posting it to manage back ASAP. And stay in the call because I'm going to do attendance.